The fallout from Microsoft's massive layoffs that they announced at the tail end of last week is still being properly assessed, and well, we're finding out some very interesting bits of information. First and foremost, in regards to quite possibly the biggest studio closure, not quite the biggest studio effective, but the initiative that, it got set up in order to shepherd the Perfect Dark IP into a third game, for it to be established as one of Xbox gaming, Microsoft I don't even know what they're calling it at this point in time. But it was going to be one of those tentpole studios, and then all of a sudden, oopsie daisy, we're just going to go ahead and cut ties with it and turn it into a support studio for, Elder Scrolls 6 or Call of Duty at this point in time. But now that we have a couple of days of information and people have been rooting through exactly what they are up to, there's been some interesting questions raised, and I've seen a little bit of this information, and what I've seen so far, it's drawn a lot of powerful parallels as to why exactly the studio got shut down, and the Perfect Dark reboot didn't get handed off to a new studio, mostly because, it's very Wonder Woman-esque, okay, if we want to keep it along the lines of a female-led game. But let's refresh everybody's memory, okay? Because this is about a week old at this point in time. Time flies when you're going through the same stuff over and over again. Wow, Xbox just laid off a bunch of people. Who could have possibly seen that coming? But anyways, Xbox Game Studios, a new Perfect Dark game, the project that was first revealed in 2020 as a debut title from the internal studio The Initiative, has been cancelled. Matt Bodie, head of Xbox Game Studios, confirmed the game's cancellation with the closure of The Initiative in the note to employees, according to a report from Windows Central. The note also confirms the cancellation of Rare's Everwild. So because Perfect Dark, because I'm old enough, and likely you guys are as well, to remember back when the original Perfect Dark came out as a slideshow on the N64, that game did not run well at all whatsoever. And then, yes, Perfect Dark Zero was, I think, a launch title, or at least it came out within the first year of the Xbox 360, and since then, it's been nothing. Okay, and that was one of the multiple different franchises, multiple different IPs that Rare had spearheaded back when they were, Nintendo's go-to, and then when Microsoft bought them up, they did, actually, nothing with them, and it's kind of wild just how they've fumbled Banjo-Kazooie, because their most notable gaming exploit in the past 15 years has been a part of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. There is absolutely nothing that Microsoft has done with Rare. It's wild. Oh, Sea of Thieves. And I don't even know. I know it still is going on in the background, but did that ever peak in popularity? Or did it just reach a plateau and kind of stay there? But okay, they were working on Everwild, and that also got shut down. It's I don't even know what to say, really. But both games, yes, have been canceled in tandem with the mass layoffs at Microsoft's gaming division. We have made the decision to stop development of Perfect Dark and Everwild, as well as wind down several unannounced projects across our portfolio. As part of this, we are closing one of our studios, The Initiative. These decisions, along with the changes across our teams, reflect a broader effort to adjust priorities and focus resources to set up our teams for greater success within a changing industry landscape. Yeah, interesting. We did not make these choices lightly, as each project and team represent years of effort, imagination, and commitment. Yeah, that's a little interesting, right? Because you're saying years of effort, okay, imagination, and commitment. And then we started to get a little bit more information on the Perfect Dark project, and what exactly were they doing over there? Okay, Perfect Dark gameplay trailer, okay, that we first seen, game showcase, 2024. God, that was summer of last year, right? Was that in the lead up, or was that over Summer Games Fest weekend? Because you got that, and then you also got an update on Fable, which we haven't heard anything of in the interim. That's wild to think about. But was that one of those projects that also just got quietly shelved because you shut down the original Fable studio in Lionhead a long time ago? And he also canceled another Fable project in Legends, but you forgot that one existed. Yeah, a lot of people did. But that'll be another topic for another time when we eventually get confirmation that that project has been canceled as well. But the gameplay trailer that we seen a year ago wasn't indicative of its progress, that's interesting. Oh, okay. The most surprising news, yes, to come out of yesterday's Xbox layoffs was that the Perfect Dark was being canceled and the initiative, the studio developing it, was being shut down. After all, we finally got a proper look at the title during last year's game showcase. As mentioned at the time, thought it looked really awesome. Yeah, her giant head and a nondescript plot and a few guns is like, yes, very Perfect Dark, much effort, whatever. Of course, trailers, yes, like these, don't always tell the full story. As one report over at Kotaku has claimed, it wasn't indicative of the overall level of process on the game. A source of theirs even suggested it was basically fake. I beg your pardon? Okay. You got some posts on, on the leftist bicyclist enthusiast platform, because whenever one of the Blue Sky users goes by, yeah, you just chant about how they like to move their bicycle. They pedal it, and you wonder what they're doing with all those documents. You wonder if they're filing them. Anyways, Perfect Dark sizzle reel at last year's Xbox showcase looked awesome. Someone at the time told me it was basically fake. This was the joint project with Crystal Dynamics, who Microsoft also stopped working with. That was another one of the announcements made, which I don't know how that changes alongside a shifting landscape, but I digress. A studio that's also struggling, yes, with Tomb Raider. Imagine that, right? Like, there's this big push recently, hasn't really worked out all that well for AAA gaming, but to put all of these female-led, we need to just go ahead. There needs to be more of an emphasis on these female-led, female-directed, female-created franchises, and you can't make any of them work. Wild, huh? And the only ones that can work are the ones that would have traditionally worked at any other point in time in history. Take a look at Stellar Blade, but I digress, and it's definitely not because of gameplay on that one. But according to Brent Malloy, who also looks like he's on a list, define fake. Sometimes certain things have to be cheated to rush something out if it's not quite done. Like, you had a cinematic, okay? And if that was, okay, cool, here are the concepts that we want in the game, it's just, we don't really have any of it in the game so far, and yeah, it's probably not going to be there. So yeah, I would consider that to be, well, you would say lie, or I'm sorry, you would say fake, I would say lie, but not indicative of the level of progress perceived to have been made on the game. Okay, that seems pretty cut and dry right there. Okay, it looks like you're further along than you actually are, and given the fact that this thing has been in development, you first announced it in 2020, meaning that you've been working on it for a little bit longer than that. So here we are, and you have somewhere in on and around 6-7 years of development, and what you've seen in that gameplay, well, not gameplay, well, rather that cinematic, was not representative of the progress that has been made on the game that you've been working on for more than a half decade. Like, what are we doing out here? You can see why they decided to cut bait and try again. We've seen this not that long ago, okay, earlier this year, with Warner Brothers shutting down Monolith Studios after that Wonder Woman game had been worked on for 3 years, first announced in 2022, and they just decided, you know what, a few $100 million, yeah, we're good. Okay, you haven't done anything with the time and the resources afforded to you. Best of luck filling out applications at fast food restaurants. Put the fries in the bag, because clearly you can't put the code in the fucking game. It's so wild. But yes, the trailer also describes itself as a gameplay reveal and a first look at gameplay, though, so who knows just how close it was to the final thing. But yes, we got clarification, because some eagle-eyed people watching along would have seen some updates that were there. But a Perfect Dark developer, so okay, somebody who has a lot of time on their hands because they were just fired, responds to the big controversy over the 2024 gameplay trailer. All right, taking to social media earlier today from former Perfect Dark level designer Adam McDonald. Oh, that's the one who hates gamers and calls them everything but children of God under the yellow sun. Oh, okay, cool. Explained that although parts of the trailer did have fake stuff in it. Oh my God. Okay, it wasn't fake. It just had fake stuff in it. Leftists, man, every single time. The demo was actually playable, and it was not intended to knowingly lie to players about what will be in the game. It did have fake stuff in it. We're not knowingly lying to you. Bro, like, what the fuck is going on? Whenever it eventually released. This demo is actually an engine, and it was one of the I was one of the 3 level designers that worked on it. For how long? How many resources did you have as a first-party Microsoft studio, and you produced something that wasn't representative of the gameplay, that wasn't representative of the work that is being done on it, but you were apparently working on it? Okay, cool. So you just self-snitched that you're fucking worthless at your job. Good stuff. It worked best if you played it the way the person was playing in the video plays it, but it still worked even if you didn't hit the marks perfectly. Okay, cool. So in a very curated experience, a QA tester could go ahead and perfectly walk through this because, yeah, the rest of it, it doesn't work right now. Okay, cool. There's some fake stuff in it. Okay, and the real gameplay system shown off worked just enough to look good in this video. Oh god, we were rapidly making real design decisions so as to not knowingly lie to players about what will be in the game. Let's go back to the beginning of that paragraph. There's some fake stuff in it. Okay, the parkour is all real. The hacking deception is mostly real. Oh, okay, cool. So the deception is mostly real. I can't believe somebody wrote this. Oh, but they were at one point in time part of the AAA gaming space. I could totally believe that they said that. Okay, so I detract that. The combat is real in that someone had to really do all that stuff in the video. Bro, just shut up. You're lying. You are actually lying. No, it's not fake. It's just none of it's, like the actual gameplay outside of just these very curated segments. But you're a liar if you think, if you say that the whole thing was fake, it was just all made up. But yeah, in the follow-up post, he said they never heard the team had turned a corner in recent months and that things were moving along and better than ever in contrast to a huge chunk of time spent in development hell at the studio. More and more we start to hear this stuff. And there's also another story that I'll be talking about later this week at some point in time as to why exactly Microsoft has been, making so many cutbacks, making so many rollbacks, mostly because their model isn't working. The cash isn't quite flowing as freely as you would have thought, and we are very much at a point in time for in so much as you want to say that, this can be a point of inflection for the gaming industry. AAA gaming, man. It's necessary now more than ever to support support your developers because, hey, when people like this lose their job, oh my god, it's just, the corporation, the big corporate, overlords, all the executives, they never lose their job. It's just these smaller developers. No. It's these hacks that can't get their jobs done, that spend more time on social media being political activists as opposed to being functional employees. So you want to keep on supporting that stuff, you go ahead and do that. On the other hand, I'm going to support a total and full collapse of the AAA gaming industry because it all fucking sucks, and the faster it burns down is the faster that something more productive and much more functional and perhaps representative can come along. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Cotswell. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.